Hey everybody, so we are here in Johnson City.
Yeah.
Not that this place is new, but the location is new. We are at the Johnson City Railroad Experience. We'll turn the camera around here, show you the building.
They actually have a grand opening ribbon cutting ceremony Saturday the 23rd.
Yep, and if we came here on Sunday, Stephanie would get a discount for being old.
Nice.
So there's their hours. They also are a collection site for Toys for Tots. Thought that of being notable. Their sign. This is Senior Appreciation Day is Friday, November 22nd.
Oh, tomorrow. No, today.
No, that's tomorrow. See, we probably should come tomorrow. And Stephanie could come in for free instead of paying $10. And then Johnson City grand opening is today. So there we go, it's today.
Everything in Green Edge is brand new. Everything that we've put together over 12 years previously is what doesn't have a green border around it. And some of it has gotten changed dramatically from where it was. For example, this is at a right angle to this. It used to go this way.
Oh, so that's new.
Yeah, so as you walk around, you can see an empty tabletop here. That's going to be Johnson City. That's this peninsula right here. And we're going to be able to have Johnson City, and we're going to be able to have Elizabeth, and about 100 feet of railway track by the time you go down and come back that we never had before. And the city where it started, Johnson City, will now have its proper place here on the ETSU layout.
So even the layout is kind of accurate to its layout on the railroad.
We're doing 1925.
1925 era.
Every building on here is scratch built. I find photographs or the building may still be existing, and I either use the existing building or a photograph, draw it to the proper scale. We used to cut them out with X-Acto knives, but now we've got a laser knife, so we can cut out the major pieces, and then I get to put it back together. I'm a biologist by training, but one undergraduate degree is fine arts, so I'm getting to express myself in fine arts again, something that I hadn't really gotten to do for a long, long time. So this layout is accurate as much as we can make it to a railroad that quit its operation in October of 1950, but still is in the hearts of a lot of mountain folks, because that was the major transportation in and out of the mountains for a long period of time.
It's a vascular system.
It is, and it got built because there was a rich iron ore vein in Cranberry, North Carolina, 34 miles from Johnson City. And so there were two attempts to build this railroad, and the first one got to Hampton, which is maybe 15 or 16 miles away, and they ran out of money. And they were doing it as a 5-foot gauge railroad, which was pretty standard at the time, which never would have gotten up through the mountain passes. And so a group came down, a fellow named Ariel Pardee, who was connected with the East Broad Top up in your all's neck of the woods, and decided it was worth building a 3-foot gauge railroad to get the iron ore out of Cranberry. And that's how this little railroad got started.
Wow.
So we're going from Johnson City, and if you follow me, I can show you Cranberry.
Yeah.
One short stop. This depot that you see here is still standing downtown. So if you go and eat at White Duck Taco or Yeehaw Brewery, you're in the station that had the ETSU on this side and had the Southern Railroad on that side. And this is an exact model of that station.
Oh, sweet.
Let me show you Cranberry.
Which shame on us, we haven't eaten it over there.
I had lunch there today. So in 1925, we got a train going by. In 1925, this was operating, and it started operating in 1881.
Wow.
And all of their mine ore started with strip mining. So you see all the spoil bags. And then they started going back in, and they had shafts that ran for thousands and thousands of feet on different levels. Back in the mine, it had the richest vein of magnetic iron ore known in the country.
Magnetic iron ore.
Magnetic iron ore. And some of the veins were 4 and 5 feet thick. So it was an amazing amount of resource there. So this photograph is what I use to create what you see down here.
Wonderful. That mill, mine mill? What would you call that? Just mine?
Well, there are several components here. They've got carpenter shops. The entrance to the mine is going under the tracks there. So they had a small quarter locomotive that would push the ore cars back as long as it was level, and then it took mules to pull them back up to the other levels. And they used gravity to bring them back down. So they would come out here, and inside this, there are a series of spindles. See these 2 round cylinders?
Okay. Yep.
An ore car would go in there and be turned upside down, dump the ore, and then they would start grading it. And they would push the empty car on up here, and notice there's 2 tracks. So you had one that the empty came up, and then the empty by gravity would go back down and bypass the others that were coming up. They could turn three ore cars at a time in there. This was their steam plant. It was fired by coal, so the coal bins are over here, and they used steam to operate all the machinery inside this, but also the drills inside the mine were operated by steam power that was created here. It was high enough, the company town is back over here where we're standing, but it was high enough to have a resort complex. They had a hotel, they had a heated swimming pool from the steam that was being generated there. Tennis court, here's a picture of the tennis court. And this building right here is this building. This is the mine store, post office on this side, mine offices over here. So none of this exists anymore except right here in 3D.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
That's the whole point of bringing history back to life in 3D and in action with all its details and all its stories.
And the little 3-foot gauge locomotives that made it all happen.
What they called the 3-foot?
It's a narrow gauge, it's 3-foot gauge.
3-foot gauge.
Right, so the model here, it's HO scale, which is the most popular scale,
Right.
1 foot to 87 feet.
Yep.
This is the same scale, except instead of having standard gauge tracks, these are only 3 feet wide. So it's HON for narrow gauge, 3 for 3-foot scale. But everything else is, all the people, all the buildings are HO scale. It's just that the trains, in order to get up through all the mountain passes, could not make it if they were standard gauge.
That makes sense. Yeah. Wow.
Just like the East Broadtown, 3-foot scale.
That makes
Narrow gauge.
perfect sense. The N.
It's called the Cranberry Mine. This is Cranberry Creek, and that was their water source. So you got a pump house here with the pipe and the water. And then it goes under the tracks, and so you're going up by the staircase over there. So this is getting water to them where they can produce the steam.
So
Fascinating.
yeah, so that's how accurate it is to even have the pipe from the pump house coming out.
Up there, every building you see there is right here, including the pump house down in front and the outdoor toilets by it.
And that's how they do it at this railroad museum.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's very historically accurate to 1925 via the pictures that they have been able to document and research.
So Elk Park, if you went to it today, you would see all of these buildings. They're still there. The depot is gone, but all of these are still standing. And they had a fire at one time that took out a building and took out the depot.
Oh,
So
the burnt building, that's on the Scavenger Hunt.
yeah, and so we left the burnt building to give a better view of this, and we will eventually put cameras back up so you can see the train coming to town. You can see the front of the building. So monitors will go up on some of these walls, so you've got a bird's eye view from both sides.
So you can see the locomotive, the engine, drivers,
Right?
first account vision.
You can see them come to town. Except for the depot, and this is where the highway is now.
Shell Creek.
Shell Creek. And you can see where we've had to cut things apart. We had to dissect all of this to get it out of the old building, get it over here. So we've still got a lot of patchwork to do. This is not an earthquake fault. This is just,
No, right.
just our fault. We're trying to get it back together.
But these old homesteads are still in
You
existence
can
here
drive
in
up
Shell
there and you'll
Creek.
see every one of these.
Amazing.
This building has changed a lot. The chimneys are gone. The little porch is gone. It's got a full-length porch upstairs and downstairs, and it's covered with green vinyl siding now, but it's still there. But I've got a picture of it in 1881. So this is exactly the way it looked then.
It's amazing.
They're expensive and they don't look that good, but if we make them, in the foreground trees, this is a sagebrush armature. I've got a brother that lives in Cody, Wyoming, and so he can go out in the winter because he can't hear the rattlesnakes.
Get the sagebrush.
And he can give me sagebrush and send it back, and then we create the trees. And we create distance by having trees that look good in the foreground, but then you get all the way back up here, and these are just little puffballs on the hill that makes them look like they're further away. And if we've got realistic trees here, those must be.
That's
Your eye
right.
will
They
tell
just
you
must be, yeah.
and a neat thing, standing back up here, we added this ramp, so we're 12 inches higher. So not only do we have a better perspective of this, but if you turn and look back, you can see hill line after hill line
Absolutely.
after hill line.
So that this is an intentional part of this tablescapes.
It is. And it's because the Tweetsie Railroad, when it started in Johnson City, went uphill after it got to Hampton. And I can show you an example of that over here. Have you seen the playroom yet?
Not yet.
Well, this is the Doe River Gorge. Geology is as it should be. A lot of this got washed out in 1901, and so they rebuilt it. I've got a picture of them laying these blocks in, a temporary trestle here, and they left the bents in after they filled it back in. And that concrete bridge was put in as well. The Doe River would be running right here. We have a formation called Curly Rock, which imitates the one that's there. There was one that overhung the tracks. They called Hanging Rock. Well, there's Hanging Rock. So the geology here is as accurate as we can make it as well. The tunnel behind you, number 5, was called the Sand Tunnel because the substrate there was more gritty and it kept eroding in. It's the only tunnel that has a liner in it on the east side. The other end, there's actually a wooden liner. All the others were through solid rock. And what I wanted to show you, if you get up here and then you look at the track down the left-hand side and see the level, now look at the track on the right-hand side. We're going uphill 1/8 of an inch every foot. So we're actually imitating some of the grade that these little locomotives had when they came uphill.
Oh, wow.
So speed limit in here was about 7 or 8 miles an hour because of the grade and the small size of the locomotives. Sherman Pippin was one of the most noted engineers, and the story is he was puffing up the grade and there was an old timer walking, and Sherman slowed the loco down and said, "Hey Zeke, you want to ride?" He said, "No thank you, Mr. Pippin, I'm in a hurry."
That's funny. That's a good one.
It is incredible.
When you come around, you can see that there's a wooden liner supporting that.
Oh wow, yeah.
Just to try to cut down on the erosion.
Huh.
Here's a neat little story here. This is this little town is Blevins, and a family named Lacey built a store, put a post office on the side. It was right in front of their house. They built the depot, thinking that they'll get a train to stop, they got a post office, a town will grow up around it. We've got a photograph made in 1905, 1915, of the Lacey family posed out here, and there's a little girl standing up on the dock. Her name's Gladys, and Gladys didn't want to be in the picture. Gladys came in and saw this when she was 103, 104, 105. She's about this tall, glasses about that thick. Put her up where she could see that, and she said, they told me if I was up there on that dock, I wouldn't be in the picture. They lied to me. Well, I've got a black and white picture. Everything that was dark colored, I painted blue. Her father, her older sister, and her coat. She said my coat was red. She's telling me 100 years later, she was 5 years old, her coat was red. Isn't that cool?
What a
That's
great
awesome.
story. 103.
So you had to repaint it red.
It's red now.
That's so awesome.
Mountain Empire Model Railroaders layout, okay? And we've got a group of folks that are together in a club, and we had an old layout in Johnson City that was a rectangle, and basically was, Fred affectionately calls it the racetrack because we ran around the outside of the rectangle.
Right.
So the geometry wouldn't work. When we got this building, we had a 40 by 25 space in the old one, and this one was like 32 by 20, less than 20. So we had to reconfigure the layout. So what we did, and just coincidentally, it is in the shape of an E, East Tennessee.
Of course.
Okay, and it's got a tail off the back, so it almost resembles ETSU's logo. So we made it in the form of an E, and we had to agree on some parameters on how to start it, what radiuses we were going to adhere to, and we were, the old layout was one plane, so it was on one level. So in this new layout, we decided to make it multi-level. So we've got tracks on two different levels, and one of the tracks is made as a branch line, so it loops two of the legs, so we can come up and a kid can push a button and run the train through the loop with unattended with nobody here.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Well, we've got a great group of folks. Everybody's had different things they've contributed to and how they've done it. This side of the layout here was something similar to what we had at ETSU, and it was like a cityscape. And one of our members passed away this past summer of a heart attack suddenly. And so we put up some shrines for him. He was a Marine Corps vet, so we put a memorial for the veterans. We put Rogersville on it for his name. Roger Tynert was his name. He was an assistant fire chief in Johnson City.
It's a beautiful
So
sentiment.
we put a firehouse in there as well. So we're trying to do things like that. This is not modeled against anything specific, but if you take snapshots of it, there's places all over this area that you'll pick up the same
get the feel.
visual image. So this is very much a cityscape, and one of our members, John Chandler, who just left a few minutes ago, he painted the backdrop. So what I told the guys when they came in here, I said, the old layout, you could sit up in the perch and you could see the whole layout. And I said, this one, you're gonna have to walk.
Yeah.
And we put the dividers up so you had to follow your train around, and also to force the public to go down one side,
Up
and go
the
down,
other.
up the other, and all that.
Well done.
So we've probably got anywhere between 12 and 20 people on and off that help with this, and they all have different strong suits. Some of them are scenery experts, some of them are trackland experts, some are electronic experts, some are cabinet makers, and So we've got most of these, 80% of these modules right here, the layouts on have been hand built.
Wow.
And they weren't in the old museum. There's just a few, like Fred's with the big bridge on it there. That one, our museum director built, and that one came over from the old museum along with a few of these other pieces. Okay? So this is our branch line right here, and it comes through the backdrop right there. You get on it by coming off the main and coming up the ramp here on this track, and then it goes down the backside, and then it'll go down on and go to the same elevation on the other side.
The details from the fire tower
Oh yeah,
to the piping,
yeah,
Yeah, I
One
was
of
gonna say
our-
the Meadow Creek Fire Tower.
right?
yeah.
Well, that's a great train there going. What scale is that?
That's HO. This is all HO scale. So 1 inch equals 87 inches, or
Got it.
1 foot equals 87 foot. And that's the prototypical scale for most model railroaders. That's the most common scale. We've made the rocks by hand. They've been made out of, it's like Paris, plaster of Paris, and we put them in a mold and sculpt them.
So much talent behind the artwork here
Well, we've
too.
done all this since January.
All this since January. Wow.
We had it laid out. This is where we were in January with just the layout, the concept. So we were doing this, and this middle E is what we wanted to get done first, which we have operating now. We've had operating since probably September. This will be the next step here, and then that'll be the last step. This is right here. Old style sawmill. It's a log flume. We've got a hobo camp,
Oh, for heaven's sakes, a hobo
Wow.
camp.
and we've got a still right there. So
You always
don't be
need one of
telling
them.
any revenuers about this place.
I believe they already know.
So I mean, that helps in a way where I had to build support.
We've got our cemetery and our preacher preaching in the funeral. So we've got a tunnel that goes back there on the branch and comes out over here.
The covered bridge and yeah, the detail with the rocks and everything and the
Now, a lot of
trees.
it too, we've had to take stuff we had that's been donated over the years and all, to kind of mix and match things together to make it work.
4, 5, 16
But all this was hand laid. I mean, all
is
some of it was built by hand. A lot of it's like out of black foam with green leaves sprinkled to it. A lot of hairspray is used.
right until over there.
And then we've got a riverbed.
Yep, hear the train a coming.
And then we've got a few of these around the layout too, which are lights, electronic lights that light up, old style.
That's awesome.
I just covered that up. Alright, taking this out. And that way you can actually take this out.
It's mesmerizing.
Hey Elijah, come here and tell them about the John Henry. Yeah, they've got a YouTube channel. Yeah.
Are we watching it now?
Elijah's one of our senior.
An NWTE1, so there's only one of them made in real life. And an HO scale, which is the scale we're in, there's only 59 of this model made, so it's about a $5,000 locomotive.
So it's your baby,
It
is
is
what you're saying.
A little bit my precious, you know. There was a lot of work to do. I had a friend of mine help me put the lights and stuff in.
How many cars are we talking? What is...
Well, we have a video of it pulling 76 cars maximum, and then me and my friend put two different ones together, and it put 176 cars, which is from all the way down there, all the way around, back to down there.
Wow.
So it was a very impressive train.
This would be.
Gorgeous.
At the moment, we're talking, maybe like 20, around 20 right now. We just do something together so you guys would have something to see and look at,
Well done. Just threw that together. Oh, yeah.
If you guys get a closer look, you can see all the lighting functions in it too. So we've got headlights, there's cab lights, so you can see the inside of it, through the doors and all that. So it's eventually putting lights in the caboose and all that. So we get into that. It's a long process. Years of work. If you have any questions about the scenery too, let me know. All these trees are hand built by me.
They're very stunning. I
Thank you.
know.
All the grass is hand placed as well. I don't use a machine for it. I hand place all the grass.
Thank you again. What was your name?
I'm Elijah. It was nice meeting you all. Thank you.
Wonderful meeting you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you so
Well
much.
done.
Enjoy the rest of it.
Thank you, sir.
The tracks are set up to be individually powered, so from the computer system, we can turn power onto each track. So if one is shorting out the layout, we can cut the power to it, or if someone's putting it up, and then they can be taken off without causing any sort of electrical issue.
And this train here is amazing.
No, I've got to work on the branch line track today. You got to work just on the section up there by the bridge on the other side of it.
And then you got the wall of trains.
Oh yeah, that's all club and museum equipment. Any members or anyone working in the museum is welcome to use them, even with their own, mixed in with their own consists.
Thank you.
No problem.
They have a little film here.
There's some church pews sitting here, or rather some railroad station pews.
Yeah.
The 1850s, now part of Norfolk Southern.
Now they do have a bunch of t-shirts
They have great t-shirts.
and a little section.
And they have merch.
Yep. Selling different stuff.
How cool. Cool. Conductor Lee.
When finished in the 1880s, the ETNWNC interchanged materials in Johnson City with the ETSU.
They have a simulator here. However, Lee's too dumb to figure it out. So to show you some of this, this is pretty wild what they've done here.
This is very miniature, gorgeous trainscape and cityscape.
Yeah.
Johnson City is a railroad experience in itself.
It's in work in progress.
Let's take a quick look at what you'll see in our
Actually, there is a scavenger hunt that they hand you when you first walk in here. And when you get your eyes down on all these miniatures and start looking for the things on the scavenger hunt,
Right.
it becomes wonderful, wonderful family fun.
Another section of it.
scheduled special events, annual train show every year, and ongoing updates to the exhibits. Your experience can be new every time you visit. So we welcome you to come in and see.
There's a little Pizza Hut. I'm not a big fan of them either, though, to be honest. They even got ships over here. Oh, Stephanie just made the little trolley go. Good job, hon. Oh, there's a future bridge rebuild, but we'll take a little look at it all from up here. And then they have a bunch of the
Exhibits and displays in the glass cases. Train whistle, honey.
yeah, they got a whistle.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Taking your tickets.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
This reminds me of the Polar Express pin that caused so much grief until they wound up, right? Till they wound up stopping.
I really like those.
The steam engine right there, so gorgeous.
Yeah.
Stunning. Oh, I didn't know they had any ETSU.
Yeah, the
Train.
ETSU
That's
Express.
funny.
This is the Johnson City Iron Furnace, which we'll be looking at here in about a second.
That's stunning, the artwork.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Wow.
Yeah,
Freaking wow.
that was that's a one of a kind, really.
Yep.
The historical accuracy of everything.
Yep.
And hopefully the wind's not killing this. Wow. I really have no other words than wow.
It was entertainment, well worth the buck.
Yep.
For every age group.
Yeah. Now,
Educational.
the volunteers here.
And the clubs that are passionate about having these trains.
Yep.
And the history and the artistry come to life.
It was a pleasure to talk to Fred and Mike and
All of them.
all of them. Amazing.
Stunning group of people.
Yep. So if you're in Johnson City, around Johnson City, near Johnson City, if you have to fly into Johnson City,
Yeah, you
we
must.
recommend this. This is a must go. Awesome place.
Yep.
So we want to thank everybody for watching.
Absolutely. Thank you.
If you like this video, please like and
I
subscribe.
love this video.
I like this video. And until next time, have a Steph-n-Lee day. Have a Steph-n-Lee day. Oh my goodness. Okay, on the count of 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
You have a Steph-n-Lee day.